Hi, it's Jessica Drummond here from the Integrative Women's Health Institute. This is our third video in our preconception wellness series. Today we're going to be talking about going beyond detox. So again, a lot of functional and integrative practitioners focus on this idea of quote unquote detox programs. And we talked in the last video about how that's important, but it's also important to really understand what you're talking about when you're offering a detoxification program, especially to women and couples in the perinatal preconception phases. Today, we're going to go beyond detox because, okay, let's say you help a woman really lower her toxic load, support her detoxification systems. You also want her to go into pregnancy. You also want that couple to go into pregnancy and maintain pregnancy and through to the postnatal period, feeling not just detoxed, but nourished. So today, we're going to talk about mind, body, and spirit nourishment as a really essential factor for couples who are trying to conceive. And this is another extremely important part of our optimal fertility program at the Integrative Women's Health Institute, our training for functional and integrative professionals on preconception and perinatal detoxification and preparation programs. So let's jump right in. So I don't know about you, but going into the preconception phase often happens in couples in their 20s and 30s and sometimes even 40s. And, you know, as I said, I don't know about you, but when I was in my early 20s, I wasn't thinking a heck of a lot about how to nourish myself. A lot of young adults and even older adults are on medications that are really nutrient depleting. And we'll talk about that in a moment. You know, in college, I wasn't thinking about nutrient optimizing my nourishment very well. You know, you can take a lot when you're in your 20s, right? You're drinking. I never was a smoker, but certainly a lot of my friends were smokers. Eating fast food, even if not eating fast food, certainly not focusing on nutrient dense meals, maybe eating out more often, just kind of grab and go grocery store food. And these are not lifestyle practices that promote optimal nourishment when you're thinking about someone who's trying to get pregnant really easily, sustain a pregnancy easily and healthfully, and have a healthy infant, because all of these practices are nutrient depleting. So up to 80% of women of childbearing age are on oral contraceptives, which there's some real benefits to that, which we're not going to get into today, but I think it's important to be aware that, of course, oral contraceptives are not all bad. There are some important benefits to oral contraceptives, and that's a conversation for another day. But today I want to talk about some of the downsides to oral contraceptives. They are nutrient depleting. They deplete folate, which is an essential nutrient in pregnancy, not just for sustaining pregnancy, but also for the health of the infant. Low levels of folate can lead to neural tube defects in babies. B2, B6, and B12, other B vitamins, are also depleted by oral contraceptives. And that's really important because those three vitamins, along with folate, which is actually B9, are essential to the detoxification process. So if you've got a young woman who drinks on a regular basis, maybe smokes from time to time, eats some fast food, her liver has a lot of work to do, right? And then if she's on oral contraceptives, she's depleting the nutrients that are required to do that work. So her body is not going to detoxify as effectively without those nutrients. She's also going to be lacking antioxidants and minerals like selenium, magnesium, and zinc. All of those are essential for pregnancy, for sustaining pregnancy, and for having healthy infants. So important to know, you've got a great grand population right there of any woman who has ever been on the birth control pill prior to trying to get pregnant. Additionally, 25% of women of childbearing age in the United States are on antidepressants. And there's, of course, a lot of overlap there. But antidepressants also deplete vital nutrients, including folate. again, increasing fetal risk of neural tube defects and making it difficult for mothers to detoxify environmental toxins, other medications, and other endotoxins and exotoxins. Smoking depletes antioxidants, which is a key factor in male fertility, not just the motility of the sperm. So when a young man or an older man is lacking antioxidant capacity, antioxidants are things like vitamin C, vitamin E, and so forth. Not just the motility of the sperm are affected, but also the integrity of the sperm DNA, so that if he does get his partner pregnant, the integrity of that DNA in that baby from the very beginning is not as robust as if he had that full antioxidant capacity. And smoking is one of the things that contributes to reducing complete antioxidant capacity, which will lead to long-term effects in the infant health. And it also may make it very difficult for that couple to get pregnant. They may have a male fertility issue. Most women also have difficulty opening to the receiving of care. So the first few slides, we talked a lot about physiologic nourishment. We talked about nutrient depletion. Those nutrients need to be restored with healthy nutrition programs. But now we also want to focus on emotional and spiritual nourishment. Many women, so not just women that are going into their first pregnancy, but now we're talking a second or third pregnancy. They're depleted by the first pregnancy. They're depleted by the first child. They're depleted by balancing work and life issues. They're depleted by balancing their caregiver roles as mothers, as daughters, caring for elderly family members, caring for their children, trying to work, commuting, caring for their partners, and volunteering in their community. Women, in the middle of their childbearing years are often very emotionally and physically depleted by over caregiving. And this can look like it can turn into adrenal fatigue, which is a fatigue of a woman's stress buffering system. And she needs emotional nourishment to restore that system. Without it, that can really affect her fertility. So there's a lot you can do as a practitioner who's offering a preconception or a perinatal program, a wellness program to the women in your community, helping them to start feeling comfortable receiving nourishment, receiving friendship, receiving love, receiving self-care, scheduling those regular massage appointments, scheduling those regular date nights. And it's not just about the practical of that. It's about really being open to receiving help, and not just receiving help, but asking for help. We are terrible at this as women. And when we gain that skill, it really can enrich our lives and actually enrich the lives even of the people we are asking for help. So coaching skills are really valuable in this population for really helping our clients and patients to receive and ask for and feel nourished. Because what's going on instead when they don't feel nourished by their partners, by their families, by their communities, by their friends, is they still feel strained and drained and stressed. They begin to feel anxious. That's one of the most common symptoms of adrenal fatigue, is kind of that low-level chronic anxiety. So what women are doing is self-medicating. They're starting the day with coffee because they're too exhausted to get going. They're going to sleep requiring a glass of wine, what I call being on the coffee wine diet, right? They're too wired at night because they've been, up finishing last minute work emails as soon as they got the kids to bed. And then, oh wait, I've got to bake cookies for tomorrow's activity or run to Target and, hot glue something, right? So we're all wired by 10 o'clock at night and can't go to sleep. So women are drinking wine to just calm their nervous systems. And really this coffee wine diet or chocolate wine diet, while chocolate, coffee, and wine are not independently bad foods or bad substances, it's how women are using them as self-medicating that really deplete her. And when she's struggling with fertility, struggling with maintaining pregnancies, struggling with, her just feeling good during her pregnancy, these are the kinds of self-medication strategies that don't work long-term. They're good as a short-term fix, but they don't work long-term because they end up being very nutrient depleting and emotionally depleting. And as we talked about in video 1, stress depletes sex hormones because it's a life or death issue for a woman to be able to buffer her stress. Sex hormones, so if her libido is low, maybe she wants to get pregnant, but she's like has zero interest in sex. Well, the two go hand in hand, right? So working on nourishment, mind, body, spirit nourishment is essential for libido. It's essential to have high enough levels of sex hormones for a woman to even be able to get pregnant. It's essential for her to have strong sex hormones to maintain pregnancy, to feel good during her pregnancy, to minimize her risk of postpartum depression. So this emotional nourishment is not just a nice to have. It's essential for women to really have healthy, vibrant pregnancies and not be dragging through their childbearing years, being sick, struggling with infertility, struggling with postpartum depression and autoimmune diseases. So this is not just something, a luxury. This is a true necessity. So part of my program and Laura and I's program in offering this to you is really teaching you how to offer strategies that support and encourage emotional and spiritual nourishment in a clinical setting. Because sometimes, clients are kind of thinking, oh, that's a little woo-woo. Are we really going to learn about this at my physical therapist office, at my physician office, at my nutritionist office, at my fitness class? Hey, this is getting a little woo-woo, right? But no, as you can see, as we just talked about, these are not luxuries. These have real, specific physiologic impacts. And when you can help patients and clients to really understand the physiologic impacts, often they are more motivated to understand how to take care of themselves, to really focus on self-care, to define what that means to them. And I think even take them beyond self-care, because self-care is important and golden, but receiving care from others, women, myself included, all of us have been there, are even worse at. So we are going to give you the strategies to help them receive nourishment, ask for nourishment, take in nourishment in all of its forms. Is the couple focusing on taking care of each other's physical, emotional, and spiritual nourishment? Infertility can make sex feel very little like romance and a heck of a lot like work. There are ways to shift that perspective. There are ways that are research-based that really impact the stress levels in a positive way of couples who are struggling with infertility. Tend and befriend. For example, you may have always heard that the stress response is fight or flight, right? If we're stressed, we need to be running or fighting the tiger. But actually in women, that's not always true. The optimal stress response for women. So if you think about it, imagine we were in a sort of tribal society, 1,000 years ago, because evolution doesn't move that fast, right? The men tended to be the ones who were out fighting the tigers and getting meat and that kind of thing. The women were more hunter-gatherers, and they were in groups, tribal groups, taking care of the children. So if the women were always to up and run, they would just be ditching the children there. Well, that wouldn't evolutionarily make much sense, right? So women instead really built these friendship kinds of bonds that are the stress buffering capacity of women and enhance the stress buffering capacity of women. In fact, the better women are at this tend and befriend response. So if they feel stressed, to be able to reach out to friends, to have a support network, to have family members that help with the practical, help with babysitting, help deliver food, come over and give them a hug, be the shoulder to cry on, be the friend to really laugh with. The more women have these deep support networks, the more likely they are to actually live longer. And anything that's health promoting like that and support networks, we're just scraping the surface in the evidence about how essential and how health promoting great support networks are, especially for women. Anything that supports health to that extent, which is huge, is absolutely going to promote fertility, healthy pregnancies, and reduce some of the postpartum health risks that women are facing these days. So, health coaching skills, stress buffering strategies are essential for every single professional who works with perinatal couples, who works with perinatal women, who works with perinatal men, who work with perinatal couples. We have to support couples and families to build these webs of support, and supporting couples to find meaning in their lives and marriages, independent of whether or not they have children, significantly reduces perceived stress, which can actually improve their fertility rates and their relationship health, because we don't want, a burned out on the fence of divorce couple having a baby, right? We want to be thinking of the whole picture. So we'll be offering you, discussing in our discussion groups, many options for safely and effectively bringing this work to your community. You can offer it in group settings. To make that easier for you, we've given you with this program a 6-session program guide included for health coaches, for physical therapists, for nutritionists, and fitness professionals, so that you can help to navigate what part of this work is my scope of practice, what other parts of this work should I be collaborating with colleagues on. And you can also offer this as a part of your regular clinical offerings, your regular wellness offerings, as a part of your fitness classes, as a part of your group cooking classes, as something you offer in the evenings of your nutrition or physical therapy practice. So there's many ways to offer this to your community, and we'll have a lot of discussions in our discussion groups about what is the best fit for your specific practice. And you don't always have to do this in groups. The benefit to groups is that tend or befriend factor, that support network factor, will begin to organically grow, but it's not necessary. You can also do this work starting with a one-on-one practice, and again, having a very clear, distinct, and research-based, evidence-based niche that is looking for your services, which is a distinct business advantage for sure. You can offer your clients specific knowledge that you'll be learning in this program, that depth of evidence-based knowledge, the detail of which supplements they need, the detail of which nutrition programs they need. This course also includes 4 e-cookbooks that you can share with your clients that give them actual recipes to implement. And you'll be offering them that one-on-one support. Having a clinical nutrition and health coaching practice for the last 5 years or so, oftentimes we figure out the physiologic issue with clients fairly quickly, let's say within the first 3 to 6 months. But after that, I've had clients who I work with for years because the support component is so essential. And, as a kind of standing on the other side, I've had coaches and mentors that I've worked with for years because that support need never goes away. So there's a lot you can offer women through the entire scope of their childbearing years. If you meet them, as they're considering their first pregnancy, support them through that pregnancy and beyond, through postpartum, through their second pregnancy, maybe not the whole time, but women need that support as much as they need the nuts and bolts, how many milligrams of vitamin C should I be taking, kinds of questions. The bottom line is that offering a safe, effective, and evidence-based preconception detoxification and preparation program is a valuable service to the women and the families in your community. The program that Laura and I are offering makes it easy because it includes that 7 weeks of evidence-based training. This training includes perinatal physiology and lifestyle medicine, and we give you the actual nuts and bolts tools that you need to easily add this program to your practice as soon as you complete that 7 weeks of training. So to learn more, everything that you need to know about this program and how to register, you can learn by clicking the button or the link with this video. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. My assistant, Nadia Lancaster, loves to take your questions, and she will reach out directly to me if you want to ask them directly to me. Her email is listed here on the video. It's support@integrativewomenshealthinstitute.com. And I can't wait to meet you inside of the program. The women and couples and families in your community, they need you. And I'm excited to support you to offer this wisdom and the support in your community. Thanks so much for being here. See you on the inside the program. Bye.